Today's March 13th. For most of you, it's just another Friday. But for this podcast and for this family, it's a birthday. It's Justin's birthday, my nephew and Ryan's big brother. Guys, we lost him suddenly in 24. And as I look across the room today, Ryan, I think about the chairs that are empty in our homes. You know, my dad, your papa's chair, my nephew, your brother, Kyle's chair, my brother, your uncle, Mark's chair. You know, I realized something, man. We don't just cheer for a team because of the stats or the wins. You know, we cheer for the people who taught us how to love the game, but they aren't here to see the rings. Tonight, guys, we're talking about the empty chair legacy. And trust me, if you've ever wished one person was sitting next to you when the clock hit zero, guys, this one's for you. Let's talk about it.
I know I'm asking a lot, you guys, but hunker it down one more time.
Guys, welcome back to the Hunker Down podcast. Today is a heavy one, but guys, it's a necessary one. How you doing, Ryan, man? How you holding up?
I'm good, Matt. You know, it's bittersweet talking about Justin on his birthday. It's tough, but there's no better way to honor him than talking some Georgia football.
Well, you know it, man. But guys, before we dive deep into the story of this family, do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We're building something special here, and we want you part of this family. So, guys, let's hunker down and get into it. You know, Ryan, people ask, when did I become a dog? Man, I was born in Moultrie, Georgia in 1976. I was the youngest of four boys. I was there for the 80 run, but was really too young to remember much about it. But I'm going to tell you what, football, it was everywhere. I remember being a little kid at MacThorpe Stadium and watching my oldest brother, Mitch. Man, he ran the rock for the Colquitt County Packers. So the love of football was ingrained in me at an early age.
Yeah, man, the Packers, that's where the grit starts, right there in Moultrie, Georgia.
You know it, but my conversion moment, I was about 6 or 7. For my birthday, I got that Georgia Bulldog costume. Everybody knows the one, the pants, the jersey, the toy shoulder pads. I even had the helmet. Man, I spent that whole day in the backyard pretending I was playing between the hedges while all the other kids were just playing football. Man, I was a Bulldog before I even knew it.
I can see you now, Matt, the little kid with an oversized helmet just trucking people in the grass.
Man, you know what? I was Herschel Walker. At least in my head I was. But we didn't have much money, Ryan, growing up. We didn't go to Athens. Dad kept the Dogs on the TV every Saturday, but Sanford Stadium was like a myth to me, man. But then in 7th grade, and a 4-H trip to Athens happened. And we walked onto that bridge next to the stadium, and, man, I can't describe it. You know, seeing that grass, that scale, honestly, man, it really changed me.
Yeah, man, it's a religious experience, really, when the first time you ever see it. It makes you realize how big the tradition really is, Matt.
For sure, man. But, Ryan, let's talk about your side of the porch. You didn't grow up in Georgia like me and your dad did. No. Your dad moved the family up to Tennessee. So what was it like growing up with Justin and Katie and your mom and dad basically in enemy territory?
You know, it was definitely interesting because inside our house, you had two completely different worlds colliding every fall. My dad, he was diehard Georgia and always has been. But my mom, she was a Tennessee fan. So every time Georgia and Tennessee played, it was a full-on rivalry right there in the living room. I remember one year, actually, Matt, Justin and my mom actually made a bet during the Georgia-Tennessee game. Whoever lost had to decorate the Christmas tree in the other team's colors. And, well, Georgia ended up winning that game, and sure enough, that Christmas, we had a red and black Christmas tree sitting in the house.
That's incredible, man.
But guess what, Matt? It gets better for me. My papa, he was a Tennessee fan too, you know, my mom's dad. And he loved to call me and mess with me anytime Georgia would lose. And anytime something crazy happened in a game, my phone would ring. We had one thing in common, Matt. We hated Alabama, and I'll never forget the Auburn kick 6 when Auburn ran that missed field goal back against Alabama. My papa called me right after it happened, and he was laughing and said, "Ryan, I can't believe what I just watched. You know, I've been watching football my whole life, and I've never seen anything like that." But that's just how growing up was for me. I had Tennessee fans on one side of the family, Georgia fans on the other, and guess who was in the middle holding the line for the Dogs, man? It was Justin.
For sure, man. For sure. And Justin, he was all in on Georgia, just like you and me, man. That was a diehard Georgia fan right there.
Well, yeah, he was. But it also made those Georgia wins mean even more because when the Dogs won, we didn't just celebrate. We had bragging rights in the whole family. And looking back now, man, those are some moments that I will cherish forever. Watching games together, the trash talk, the phone calls from my papaw, and just being right there in the middle of it all. And the funny thing is, man, it hasn't changed much at all because my wife, Hannah, she is a Tennessee fan. So even today, when Georgia and Tennessee play, the rivalry is still alive and well in my house.
Man, some things never change. But eventually, you made it out of Tennessee to see it in person, didn't you?
Yeah, man, I did. And talking about that religious experience you had on that bridge, I remember the first time I ever got to experience that for myself. Georgia was playing Missouri, and my dad surprised me with tickets to go see the Dogs play inside Sanford Stadium. And I remember when he told me we were actually going, I was blown away. I had watched Georgia on TV my whole life, but I'd never been there. I didn't know what to expect, Matt. You know, walking up towards the stadium and seeing all the red and black everywhere, hearing the crowd before we even got inside, it gave me chills. Still does. But when we finally walked through the entrance and I saw that field for the first time between the hedges, it just hit me. All those Saturdays watching with my dad and Justin, now I was actually there.
I guarantee you got chills. But that game, man, that was the 2013 game. I remember it.
Yeah, now the funny thing is, Georgia actually ended up losing that game to Missouri. And as a kid, I remember being so crushed about it. But looking back now, that moment actually taught me something important. It taught me how to handle a loss, whether it's something small like a football game or something much bigger in life. Because sometimes being a fan, being a part of a family, and just growing up, it means learning how to keep showing up even after the losses, Matt.
And that's a hard lesson. You know what? But it's a true one. Bottom line.
Yeah, in a strange way, that lesson followed me later in life. You know, I lost my brother Kyle when I was about 1 year old in a car wreck. So I never really got the chance to know him the way the rest of my family did. But losing Justin, that was different, man. I was 20 years old when we lost him. I had so many memories with him. I grew up with him. I looked up to him. So when he was gone, it left a real empty chair in our house. But the thing about being raised in a family like ours, Matt, you learn just to keep going. You learn to honor the people you've lost by carrying on the traditions they loved. And for us, a part of that tradition has always been cheering on our dogs.
You know what that is, right? That's brotherly love right there. You know, I lost one of my older brothers, Mark, your uncle, back in 21. And we were so close. But I'll tell you what, it felt like the world was thinning out. And it was thinning out right when the Dogs were getting so good.
Yeah, and that's the irony of it, isn't it? We waited 41 years, and just as we get to the mountaintop, some of the people who helped us climb it aren't there to see the view.
No, you're right, man. It's crazy. But I'll tell you what, let's talk about that night. January, well, it's the 21 season, but it was January 22, playing Bama. Ringo catches that ball and starts sprinting. Man, what's going through your head at that moment?
Pure chaos, man. Relief. I mean, I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
You and me both, man. But I'm going to tell you what was on my mind. The first thing I thought of was my dad. He passed in 04. He never saw the back-to-back. And when Ringo crossed that goal line, I felt like I was paying off a debt, for my dad. And all those Saturdays on TV, I felt like he finally got his ring.
Yeah, man. He was definitely celebrating in the best seats in the house that night. But, man, I remember exactly where I was, too. When Georgia won the national championship, me and my dad were in the living room screaming our heads off like crazy people. It was just pure excitement, man. Like all those years of waiting finally paid off. And I remember right around midnight, I texted Justin, and I'll never forget what he texted me back. He said, "Oh, my gosh, finally, been waiting my whole life for this, 33 years. And the crazy thing is, man, little did we know he would actually get to see another the next year before he passed away in July of 24. So when I look back on that moment now, it means even more because that wasn't just a championship. That was a moment I got to share with my dad and my brother Justin, too.
For sure, man. Amazing memories. And now, I look at my boy, Caleb. He's a freshman in high school. He wants to play for the Dogs. He's got that dream. And I take him to every game I can. We tailgate, we walk the campus, and we do a lot of that with you, Ryan. And, I'm doing all the things, my dad couldn't afford to do with me. And I'm trying to fill those chairs for the next generation.
Yeah, for sure, Matt. My takeaway tonight is simple. If you've lost someone, Don't look at an empty chair and feel sad. Look at it and realize they passed the torch to you. It's our job to keep the hunkered down spirit alive for them.
For sure, Ryan. It's all about the bloodline, man. It's about the brothers we've lost and the sons we're raising. Man, we're family, and the Bulldog Nation is just one big extension of that. But guys, we want to hear from you in the comments right now. Who is your empty chair? Drop a name, drop your story, man. Let us remember them tonight together. But with that, guys, we're out of here. And without further ado, you know what it is, baby.
Happy birthday, Justin.
Happy birthday, Justin.
Go,
Go, Dogs.